Hi all, and welcome to day 13 of Advent of Elixir. Today we're going to look at a cool function in the list module, or at least a function that I think is cool in the list module that you may have missed. This function is List.wrap, which I think is a fairly appropriate function for the season. So List.wrap has three modes of operation. The first one is if it sees a term, it will wrap it in a list. So let's take a look at that. If I give it foo, it'll put it into a list. If I give it foo as a string, it'll put it into a list. If I give it 137, it will put that into a list. The second mode of operation is if it sees a list, it won't do anything. So list.wrap 127, the list of 127, it doesn't do anything. Or if it has two different things or three different things, the list is untouched. And the third mode of operation is if it sees nil, which is a special case, it'll return the empty list. So let's take a look at this. Empty list. Okay, so one thing this is great for, and this is probably the most obvious thing that you might think of using it for, is suppose that we have a keyword list of, say, options or descriptions for various objects. So, and in this case, we're going to use one that looks like this. So this could be some sort of like option list or something like that. And you know, the values in the options list are some sort of description for those items. You might want to make it so that at the code level, at the configuration level, you don't have to wrap all of your atoms into a nice list, but then you need to go through and normalize it. Well, if you want to normalize it so that all of them have sort of the same form, you want the adjectives, if you will, for A to be in a list and the adjectives for C to be in a list, which aren't the case currently. So if I were to do that, I would do something like this. So I would do enum.map kwl, and then we're going to take a function that takes the key and value, returns the key with the list.wrap value. Pretty straightforward, and I think a wonderful, well, if I can get the syntax correct, a wonderful use of list.wrap. I think this is a good way to use it. But I think that there's also a secret superpower, and the secret superpower of list.wrap is to combine it with two other things in Elixir. The first one is the if statement, and the second one is enum.flatMap. So let's take a look at this, again, slightly contrived scenario. I'm going to give you some map. And what I want to do is, at the same time, normalize and also filter the values here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to only look at, the filter is only going to look at the even number keys, and we also want to normalize them so that they are all in lists. Or actually, not normalize them, we want to collapse them so we get a list of all of the adjectives that apply to even valued keys. So how are we going to do that? We're going to do enum.flatMap. We're going to operate on the map, and then we are going to look at k's and v's again. And here we're going to do list.wrap. And here we're going to put our if statement. And that filters for even ones. And we're just going to return the value there. And so you can see what we did was we plucked out the adjectives nice and green from 2 and blue from 4, and we've ignored red and naughty from 1 and 3. So how did this do what it did? Well, one of the things that you may or may not know about Elixir is that the result of an if statement that comes out false is nil. So let's demonstrate that real quick. And, if we flip this, then it'll work. Or if we rather make it come true. So we can take advantage of the fact that the if statement will return nil when the condition is not met. And List.wrap will go ahead and turn that into an empty list. So for 1 and 3, these get converted into empty list. And then the flat map will flat map together empty list, nice green, empty list, and the list of blue. And in order to do that, the blue also needs to wind up being inside of the list, and enum.flatMap will take care of that for us. And the really nice thing about this is this allows us to avoid the necessity of doing a enum.filter step beforehand. So in the end, this is a little bit more of an efficient way of pulling together the values that we wanted to pull together. Okay, I hope you found this useful. I happen to use enum.flatMap with list.wrap and if statements all over the place. You'll be surprised to find where you can use it. Hope that was helpful. I will link to the documentation on list.wrap, and hope you have a great day and see you tomorrow.